the channel. Hello, hello. Welcome to the stream. We will be starting momentarily.
Woohoo! Hi! Woohoo!
Oh, welcome any and all to Views in Paradox. I'm your host, John Olson. I'm joined as always by Rochelle Racine, my faithful co-host, and sup sup. Uh, and this week joining us is Rachel Collins. She previously guested on our what was the show called at that point? Was it just Movie Club Collective? Yeah,
Something like that, yeah.
yeah. Oh, we are live, but I realized I have a mistake. I have Jose's uh, Twitter handle still up on screen. Where I'm gonna do this at the top just so I can fix it. Where can the people find you, Rachel? Do you have an
Yeah,
at?
they can find me on Twitter or Instagram, but I mostly post on Instagram, so don't look at my tweets. But the name is the same. It's RACHLCOLL. So it's Rachel Call.
Cool.
Yep.
Alright. And so that should update. Yeah, cool. All right, fixed it. We'll probably do that again at the end, but I just wanted to not have a glaring thing at the top. Anyway, what a way to start the show. So this week we'll be talking Onward. We Rochelle and I kind of discussed beforehand that we wanted to just kind of address the chaos happening in the US of A right now. um, yeah, so there's been a lot of protests going on. For anybody watching this later, we don't get a lot of live views, so chances are you're watching this later. Um, yeah, yesterday, social media is kind of like, what do they call it? Blackout
Black
Tuesday?
Tuesday. Blackout Tuesday, yeah.
Yeah. And it's just been crazy. I just I was thinking about what to say about it, and I've been like very active on sort of Facebook, and maybe too much so, to the point where it's very upsetting. I'm just seeing a lot of uh, defensiveness from conservative people in my circles, and uh, I do know people who work in sort of the work or have worked as police officers and military. I even do work with a veterans association called the Pattern Veterans Project. So like I do think I can kind of empathize with these people, but I want to say that like now's not a great time to be defensive. There's a lot of just awful things happening, and I've seen a lot of weird defenses. Um, and I kind of I kind of wanted to say that like regardless of the racial issues of which they're extremely valid and prominent, um, there's still a police brutality problem in this country regardless. And like if that's not upsetting, I don't understand your priorities, and I think I'm going to start kind of disengaging with those types as as things move forward, because I just kind of can't convince anybody um, who who doesn't already kind of have their eyes open a little bit that there's like huge massive problems in this country, and that the quote unquote leader of the free world is being a total dick about it and mishandling everything. Um,
He ain't no leader.
so, Rochelle, I guess that's kind of the majority of what I had to say. I don't want to overstep, you know. I'm just trying to be supportive. We posted for Blackout Tuesday just some screens. No Black Lives Matter hashtags because I know that that was kind of like a crowding issue that was happening. But Rochelle or Rachel, if you wanted to, I don't know, just add to that.
Yeah,
it's
I mean, just I didn't know who was going first. I mean, yeah, it's been a crazy time, and I think that the way I see it, just especially as obviously not a person of color, that it's learning and listening are the two biggest things that I'm going to try to do. I've seen a lot of people share resources. Donating is one of the big things, and I think it really does need to be action. It's not so much like, yes, educate yourself, but like we all should be educating ourselves and looking to these resources all the time. But now it's a time to go beyond just, education and to do action. At least that's what I think should be happening. And I think the action shouldn't be violence, but I think that the action should be changing policy. So knowing who to vote for, midterms are coming up, the local elections are huge reasons, that or huge ways to get local police laws passed. So a lot of people focus on the national elections, and those are important, but knowing who are the lawmakers in your towns and in your states that actually can pass the laws and to make lasting change, that's super important as well. So and definitely donating. There's a lot of people sharing links and resources. I'm sure you can find them, but a lot of people are doing great work out there and need your help. So I think just action, action, action. Like, yes, listening, yes, learning, but there's a lot of action that people can do. So that's kind of how I feel about it.
Yeah.
Amen. To elaborate on that, not only should you be voting in your elections, local and national, but like vote with your dollars. We're seeing a lot of organizations show their true colors, not only in the COVID situation, but now in this. For example, Taco Bell donated to the Trump campaign recently. Heartbroken, straight up. I love Taco Bell. But yeah, like just bear in mind.
But that's okay.
I mean, start supporting Black businesses, start supporting Mexican minority businesses all across the board. Definitely start reading. Definitely start actively listening. And if you are one of the people who are becoming defensive, you need to realize that this isn't about you. This is about our country. And when we were children, we all stood up and said the same Pledge of Allegiance if you grew up in this country. And we cannot uphold that, and we cannot really be America without everybody. So if you want to make this about you, go move to a nationalistic country straight up. Bye. All right. With that said, I no longer want to talk to those people. To the Black community, we see you. We see your struggles. We see the oppression that you have endured for too long. We see your intelligence. We see your value. And as a white passing person, if my privilege is protection, then it's yours as well.
That was really well said.
Thank you.
We almost had a really nice lineup of a movie. We were going to do a Spike Lee movie this week, and our guest postponed. We'll get back to that later. Which I thought would have actually been kind of a really nice lineup, coincidentally, for this week. But we are here kind of to talk movies, to hopefully offer distraction. Also be aware that COVID's still going on. And please, if you go out, wear your mask, social distance. Be as careful as you can. If you are protesting, just, when you are not protesting, be extra careful about how you interact with people, because the numbers have spiked. Something like 10,000 new cases have come up in the last 48 hours. So just kind of be safe out there. Do what you have to, but be safe and take care of each other. I've seen a lot of very kind of cool things in regards to solidarity and I no longer live in New York City, but uh, a lot of the people in my circles do still live in New York City and are kind of out there uh, peacefully protesting, as the majority of protesters are. The idea of all the violence is getting blown way out of proportion, especially considering the fact that we are responding to violence, directly to violence. And so to kind of have this like blame casting going the other way, uh, it really is kind of, it's just upsetting. But I think you spoke really well about it, Rochelle, and you know, to all of our loved ones who have kind of put up with this shit, with bigotry, whether it's from the police or otherwise. uh, you know, we hear you. I'm listening. uh, and as upsetting as it is, I'm not going to disengage completely. Um, you know, we kind of can't turn away from it. But now it's time to move onward with the show.
You.
I know I've been waiting. How long have I been holding on to that one, right?
Yeah.
So we watched Onward. This is Pixar's most recent film, one of the last movies that came out in theaters. Period. Was it the last movie? It was like the last weekend that movies came out, right?
Yeah.
So Pixar's 22nd film. Rochelle, you usually take care of our credits and stuff. Do you want to give us the rundown?
With pleasure. So, quick synopsis. Two elven brothers embark on a quest to bring their father back for one day. They're teenagers. Their names are Elin? I just use
Ian.
Together. Ian and Barley Lightfoot. And there's magic involved throughout the film, which is kind of cute. Ian does not remember his father because he was an infant when the father passed away from an illness, and Barley was like late toddler stage.
Yeah,
like
toddler.
Yeah.
Probably 4 or 5.
Yeah, 4 or 5. It was directed by Dan Scanlon. Did I pronounce that right?
I think so. Yeah.
Let's hope so. And there was a slew of writers, including Dan. We're just going to leave that there because there's too many, which is typical in animation.
There were when I saw the credits, I'm not looking at it now, but when I saw the credits, there were like 3 primary writers and then probably extra.
Then Jason Headley and Keith Bunin. Sorry if I said that wrong.
Right.
Cast at the top: Tom Holland plays Ian, Chris Pratt plays Barley, Octavia Spencer plays the Manticore, and Julia Louis Dreyfus plays Laurel, which is the mother of Ian and Barley.
Nice. So full spoilers ahead. I guess we'll just kind of dive into it from here. I want to say right at the top, at first I thought the dad was also Chris Pratt. Like,
really?
Am I crazy? I felt like they sounded so similar that I had to like look it up to be sure.
No, it didn't sound similar to me, but that's just like
Me neither.
Yeah.
And I feel like I would have caught that.
Yeah, I watched it with my wife Brianna, and she was kind of like, it's similar, but she was pretty sure they were different. So maybe it's just me. But when I started, I was like, does he play both? But it's just like another guy with a similar build actually to Chris Pratt. So, where should we kind of kick off with this discussion?
All right. I like where you want to compare it to Up.
Okay. So
yeah.
my first kind of note in where we put our notes and stuff was that I felt structurally this movie is incredibly similar to Up. So it's a different context, but they use a lot of the same beats. And Up is a very effective film, so I feel like, you know, they're taking a formula that works and they're running it on. And I do feel like it worked on me again. I cried twice in this movie.
Basic.
Yeah. I was just like I'm a sap, I'm a baby. Big old baby when I watch these movies. But
Pixar will do that to you.
yeah, Pixar. Um,
Disney period. Like,
yeah. So the big parallel to me was like, spoilers for Up. Also in Up, his wife dies and leaves him a book that like he is like he's supposed to finish kind of the book with the rest of his life after his wife dies, and he can't kind of open it. Um, and in this one, there's a similar device where we follow Ian, who's just turning 16, and he's like kind of a shy kid. And he's got like a checklist that he's making to do things. Um, and they discover the main plot of the film is that they discover a spell that their father has left behind for them that can bring him back for one day so that he apparently knew he was going to die, some sort of unnamed sickness that he has. And um so he like leaves them the means to come back so he can see who they've grown up to be, like he can see them again. And Ian makes a big old list of all the things he wants to do with his dad. And this is used in the exact same way that Up uses that book, where like near the end of the movie, like in Up, everybody cries like in the first 12 minutes because it's just like this like perfect thing where it rips your heart out of your chest. But the other
damn it.
place, right? Kalima, right? And the other place where it really hits you is when he comes back to the book and uh like he starts reading kind of all the things that she put in there, and then like the open pages that are left for him, and like it's right before the climax of the film. It's like the sort of penultimate moment. And the list is used in the exact same manner here, where like there's kind of a heart-wrenching setup followed by an adventure, and then like right before kind of everything culminates, they just like kind of sucker punch you. That's the moment that really got me, is when he goes back to that list. I'm not sure uh, I'm not sure if it got you guys the same, if you guys kind of felt similarly about this film, but um, yeah, no, that's kind of that was my
that
Up
part
comparison.
made me cry. And then, of course, the beginning. I lost my dad recently, and it brought up all the feels. Um, what I did like about that, though, even though that plot, them losing a parent in Disney, they've used that to death. But the difference with this film was that usually in films like this, and not just with Disney, but like the parents never know what the kid's doing. Like we saw that in Spider-Verse, like they're just oblivious to like this kid's quest in second life that they're creating for
Yeah,
themselves. And the mother was very active
that's true.
throughout
That is
her
a nice
quest.
difference.
I thought that was a nice difference.
Yeah,
It was touching.
I loved the
Yeah.
mom in general.
Yeah. And we've been watching a lot of Seinfeld, so Julie Louise Dreyfus, I was like, yes, like she's so good,
Yeah.
so funny.
I didn't recognize her. I didn't realize until after, when I kind of
Really?
looked at the credits, that it was her. But yeah, great job. I like her setups were great with her working out with the shake weight thing, or like
Oh yeah,
the workout video, how it comes back at the end. I really liked. Um, and yeah, just kind of how active she is, and she's very aware of what they're doing, and like is being kind of a good concerned parent and trying to, you know,
yeah,
And supporting this quest.
yeah, she's not like
yeah,
trying to stop them. She's just trying to keep them from
keep
getting
them safe.
physically hurt.
Yeah,
Um, and like I almost had a gripe with the movie that like she's because she's in on it from the beginning. Um, like she discovers the spell with them, and I was kind of like, she really doesn't want to like see her husband again. Um, but I do think it's the idea that she has accepted what's happened, right? She has like
yeah,
dealt with it already.
Yeah, I think it's more for her kids, you know, like
Yeah.
that's how she kind of frames the whole thing. And so that like that's why Ian gets the sweatshirt and like she tries to do all this stuff for him in particular. But yeah, I mean, weirdly, like because it's a, you know, hero's journey story, like I'm always gonna go back to Lord of the Rings when they go on a quest. I'm like, all right, like they're going on a quest.
There
But
was a little
oh yeah,
Easter egg for Lord of the Rings in the
what's
brother
there?
car. Yeah, they're like the little. I think it was like the what is that called? The air freshener. There was like a quote
Oh,
from
from Lord of the Rings.
yeah.
There's so
Oh no,
many.
I missed that.
There's
Oh,
so
wish I
many
saw it.
Easter eggs. Um, and when I was digging through the trivia afterward, as I always do, like there was like hundreds of things, and almost all of them were just like lists of the different Easter eggs that are in the film. Most of them are to other Pixar, but there's also like Lord of the Rings, Dungeons and Dragons, Marvel films, because the two main characters are involved in the Marvel franchise, which Rochelle did not know when I mentioned it to her at the top of the or during her prep. Um, but that's okay. She don't like it. It's
Batman for life. Okay.
um, but that's a side conversation. But yeah, lots of lots of Easter eggs. I like I think the framing of the quest was smart.
Yeah.
I read one of the things I found in the trivia is that the there was an original pitch for this movie. I don't know if it ever had a script or anything, but there was an original pitch that had the brothers as scientists working on like a science experiment to bring their father back piece by piece. So they had like clearly the goal was always to tell the story about trying to like reconnect with a
Yeah, didn't one of the authors, I don't know which one because you mentioned a couple, I thought he was inspired by his actual father
yeah, the
passing when he was only
director.
like a year old. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, the director had
Director, sorry.
yeah, I mean he was also one of the writers. Um and so yeah, I think like clearly this was a very personal story that he wanted to express, just kind of probably to help himself deal with this kind of thing. Film is a
Just to
very
touch on that, I see why the scientists pitched it in.
yeah, like
Um,
the making it around this quest element like just gives it kind of a natural sense of
magic,
adventure.
yeah, and magic, and like scientifically, if you are a logical individual, we're not there to bring back the dead yet, if ever.
Yeah, I mean it would wind up being science fantasy essentially.
Whatever.
Yeah, and I mean, I also think that an important part of like the B, not B plot, it's not the B plot, but like the B plot message is like the going back to basics and like not technology because they all go back to magic at the end. They stop using their cars and their cell phones and stuff. So maybe that's where the science element came, but I think it translated well with this world.
Yeah, what is the message there with that like technology's bad or something more subtle
I don't think
like
it's bad. It's just that maybe it's like
it,
some things are done better with the old fashioned way, you know? Like maybe that's the message. Like you don't like magic might be better for certain things than
yeah,
technology.
like don't discard what's come before.
The forefront of this, though, like in the beginning, because they're elves and minotaurs and like all these like magical beings. So like, where was the fucking magic
Yeah.
prior to this? Right?
Yeah, and like when magic happens in the movie, it doesn't often happen around like characters outside like the brothers that we're following. But when it does, nobody is ever like shocked and awed by it. Like it is a part of their history. So that might be more of the message is just that like, don't forget where you came from kind of a
Okay.
thing. Maybe.
I live with that.
Yeah. I'm just spitballing here.
Yeah.
I think that was actually the C plot because like I feel like the A plot is Ian's story, which is a coming of age story, hence the title of our
Yeah.
episode, right? And the B plot sneaks up on you. And the B plot is the brother dealing with the loss of his father, right? Like the other part that got to me is when he shares the fourth memory. So for anybody that's watching this that didn't watch Onward already, which I'm not entirely sure why you would, but for anybody that might be, um, the what's his name? Barley says that he's got three memories, and they are all pleasant memories, and he kind of slips at like a little past the midpoint of the movie. He like slips up and says that he's got four memories, and the fourth memory is the last memory of his dad, that he saw him in the hospital room, and he freaked out, and he ran away. And he essentially didn't get to say goodbye to his dad. That made me cry. Like it got me so hard, because like there's something about just like, you know, loss as a surprise is just, you know,
Especially as a child.
yeah. And so, you know, he clearly got a complex about this, and he like went overtly to like, he says like,
Right.
I'll never be scared again. But like it reveals that like this movie is also, it's not just about Ian and like his growth. It's about the older brother's ability to come to terms with the, you know, with the loss. And you know, and then that feeds into I don't know if you guys want to talk about the end of the movie yet, but it does kind of like feed into how things resolve. So I liked that kind of subplot, because it was there from the beginning, but it's not exactly clear until you get to kind of that, like, I don't know, last third or so of the movie.
Right.
Let's talk about Manticore's Tavern.
Yeah. go ahead, because you said you can tell.
I want to fucking go there right now. Like right now.
It's just like a Chili's or a Fridays, though, right? Isn't that
It's
the
like
whole
a
joke?
mac and cheese. Like, why doesn't this exist in like human world? I don't understand.
The beginning version or the end version? Because the end
Both.
version looked kind of fun.
They both look fun. I mean, obviously the end version is like ideal now.
The more
Now that
legit.
no, it's an option, but yeah, why doesn't that exist? I guess like the closest thing would be like medieval times.
Yeah, kind of like medieval times.
I was curious. I know this is like a weird question, but like everyone else seemed to have like a race, like the elves and the whatever, but there was like the Manticore. Like, is she eternal? Like, is she the Manticore?
I guess
is there
so.
only one?
So
Does she have other
She's the
Manticores?
Manticore. Fun fact, Rochelle, the Manticore is actually a Persian mythological beast.
I didn't know that. Well, look at you.
Yeah. So it was famous, like it was famously one of the original Dungeons and Dragons monsters. Like that one and the gelatinous cube are like the two kind of big monster references to D&D, but D&D got that one from Persian mythology. And so it's like a lion.
I don't know much about
scorpion.
D&D,
Yeah.
as you can tell.
So it's supposed to be like our version of the Sphinx.
Okay. Yeah, and it's like I think I looked up. It's like it the name is like derived from man eater. Like it's just like, you know, every culture has, you know, their chupacabra, their sphinx, their manticore. I don't know if the sphinx is.
All right, so just to
deadly.
I had to Google this immediately because
Sure.
I didn't know that. I'm very embarrassed as an Iranian. The beast had the head of a man, the body of a lion, and the tail of a scorpion.
Nice.
That's neat.
Yeah,
I didn't
and
know
then
there
they
was-
added wings, which they also added wings to the unicorn. What's up with that? Why'd they have wings?
Can't they some fly? I don't know anything
Well,
about
there's-
My Little Pony, but isn't there one that flies?
Oh, My Little Pony. I mean, unicorns are, you know,
Oh.
ancient
I
mythology.
don't know. I kind of think unicorns and Pegasus are the same. I know that's not right, but
Yeah, like
in my
the
mind, they can
Pegasus.
fly.
The Pegasus is from Greek mythology, and it was a winged horse. And the unicorn was supposedly a real animal that the Europeans may have hunted down to extinction, or may never have existed at all. But it was just like a horned horse, and they kind of mashed them together in the unicorns on the street who are like feral, which I did love those.
that was fun.
But then like on the
They're
side
like
of his
feral cats.
van, on the side of his van is just like a straight Pegasus. So I was like, why, why do we need wings on everything? So
Maybe
wings,
they can still breed because they're similar species.
yeah. the Manticore. I wanted to throw out that there is a nice Easter egg in the restaurant. Apparently, Remy from Ratatouille is the chef.
I did not see that.
So
there's a million in the restaurant.
yeah, there's like Mickey stuff. There's stuff from like Fantasia references.
Yeah.
The Toy Story, lots from Toy Story, and then the birthday song is from The Emperor's New Groove.
Yeah, that's right.
I recognize that, but I didn't know why. That makes sense.
The Emperor's New Groove is so good.
So good.
Such a good film.
Yeah.
Next time.
yeah, maybe next time. We should do one on that at some point. It's just so ridiculous.
It is.
In a good way. But yeah, the restaurant's chock full. It's like the restaurant and the pawn shop are like the most like Easter egg loaded things.
Yeah.
I think there's some more Lord of the Rings references in the pawn shop as well.
Oh man, I missed them all.
They
This
like
is the second time I saw this movie too.
They
I
just
missed them
stream
all.
by. Like they're so easy to miss, and Pixar just has all the time in the world to just like plant them. Like
Well, they're like, environment building, set dressing. You got to get bored if you're that guy just animating like stuff on the table. You're
Yeah,
like,
it's
why
like-
don't I put this in here?
the clutter looks better. It's just more cinematic in general. So it's like, okay, we have to fill this to the brim. What are we gonna do? We're gonna go to our 21 other films plus the whole Disney catalog. Oh yeah, and Disney owns Marvel, so
Yeah.
we can just.
I mean, when you have the rights to all that stuff, like, why wouldn't you?
Yeah, why waste it?
The world, okay? The world.
Yeah, I mean, they were on top, but right now I think they're hurting like real bad. It's a good thing
I
they
heard that
launched
too.
Disney Plus when they did.
Yeah, for sure.
Well, that's why they're launching Hamilton, because they need to like get more Disney Plus subscribers. It's like their only monetizing thing right now.
Yeah, I mean,
and even so many people have it for free, like through Verizon or something, right?
yeah, that's how we got it. Like
Yeah.
we're
I'm like the only person in the country that's paying for it.
we are on like the family plan here at the house, and so it just came with a year of Disney Plus. So yeah, a lot of people just got it out of that. I mean, I'm sure they made like a nice chunk from Verizon out of that deal.
Well, obviously, I'd hope so.
But yeah, like their primary revenue comes from the parks and hotels and like cruise lines. Like the films themselves make a lot of money, but more than that, they are a way to get people to go to the parks and to buy toys, obviously.
Speaking of,
Yeah.
I mean, I know it's new, but like this needs to be a ride and an immersive land like immediately. Like I think I would enjoy it that much.
Manticore Land.
They should just make the Manicore's Tavern. That would be.
They probably will.
Yeah, I hope so. But I'm like really into the mushroom houses, so if you could maybe knock down Toontown and put this in there, that'd be cute.
Knock down Toontown. God, that's the plot of that movie. You can't do
No
that.
one goes there anymore, John.
Oh.
I'm an annual pass holder. I can say this.
Poor Toontown. The last time this is how long it's been. Last time I went to Disneyland, Toontown was like new.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah, we went when the like Indiana Jones ride had just opened. Toontown was still really new. So like, yeah, it's been a very, very long time. What's that?
Wow. Well, no one stands in line for Roger Rabbit anymore.
Mm.
That didn't age well.
Yeah, I got to ride in the car. I used to love Roger Rabbit. Yeah,
I still go on that ride. I'm pretty sure I'm the only person that goes on that right now.
It's just you.
It always is. I'm not even kidding. I get like right to the front.
I know. Everybody's hanging out at Star Wars Land or whatever. Yeah. This would be cool. I wonder if the movie will have enough traction for them to want to do anything with that. Just because the timing of when it came out. And I feel like it wasn't looking to be like a box office smash even before the pandemic
I
happened.
don't know about you guys, but I didn't see much advertising. I just like turned on Disney Plus one day and was like, oh, there's a new one. Bleep.
I saw advertising, but I think it's also because I'm like huge Disney nerd and I'm like at Disneyland and like doing that nerd stuff. So like I'm putting myself in that situation to see it all the time.
Yeah, I follow a lot of movie news, and what I was getting was that like um, the push was going to be for their next film was like where Disney was really like looking to bank was going to be on the follow up to this one later in the year, which has probably been like delayed indefinitely, which is Soul. Um, so there's a trailer out for there's like a teaser trailer out for it. I forget who it stars, but it's like a guy who dies like right away, and then his ghost goes on like on this journey.
I'm making you cry in the beginning, dude.
I know they love death at Pixar.
Disney death.
Yeah,
death for Disney.
They're obsessed with death. So yeah, they were like kind of banking on the next one, and it was strange because yeah, they just didn't put a ton of like resource into the advertising campaign on this film. So I don't think it was looking to be like a huge hit. We were
they definitely didn't make Mickey ears for it, so that tells you a lot. It really does.
I guess I don't know what that means. What does that mean?
Mickey ears, the little things that you buy when you go into the park and then you wear them the whole time.
Oh, they theme them? Oh,
yeah, of course. And depending on
I haven't been in 20 years. You got to give me a break.
Not. So depending on the film that like how big they want the film to be, they will make the Mickey ears like right when it releases. So like Moana, of course, like damn movie. What is that movie with the Norwegian people?
Brave. Right?
No. Frozen.
Oh, Frozen.
That's Frozen. Yeah.
You're right. Irish or Scottish is Brave.
Yeah. Yeah, they also don't have Mickey ears for Brave. Like that's a wonderful film. Get Mickey ears. But yeah, like none. And I didn't really see that much merchandise either.
Yeah, Brave kind of falls in a similar like line with this in the way they marketed. Like Brave was actually mismarketed like crazy. It was mishandled.
Yeah.
And this one was just like kind of under marketed. But we were kind of discussing earlier, Rochelle, like who is this for? Like who's the target audience for this film? And I think it's tweens. I feel like yeah, it's largely you mentioned that it's like for boys also, right?
That's how I see it. I think it's for boys, which I found interesting because I mean, correct me if I'm wrong, but like other than Cars, they don't really have much. And even then, isn't there
Pixar's I mean, there's The Incredibles I think has an appeal, but that's full family, right? Yeah, that's everyone.
I don't know. I kind of saw the Toy Story movies. I mean, they went away from their original thing, but the very first one, I would have, it's a buddy film.
Yeah,
that's true. Okay. Yeah, I mean, it's I feel like Toy Story, it is very family friendly though.
I think they like got that. You know what I mean? Yeah. The first one's a buddy film. The second one, when they bring Jesse and all the people in, and then obviously the third and the fourth one, like it changes for sure.
Yeah, it's true.
But...
all of the Toy Stories are a little bit different.
Yeah.
Yeah, and Pixar in particular loves to explore archetypes. So, there's like Cars is the big city kid goes to the country, as an example. And this one is like, we already kind of said it's like our coming of age film. Yeah, just the fact that he's turning 16 and like everything feels like a big deal.
He's deeply insecure, which aren't we all at that age?
Yeah, and then the everything on the list at the beginning of the school day he doesn't get done, and then he gets everything done on the list by the end of the film.
Yeah, without even realizing it, because isn't that just how life goes?
Until the end.
Yeah. Yeah, so I feel like it's kind of towards tween boys, which maybe they just didn't feel like is a huge market for Disney. Yeah. So maybe that's why they kind of didn't.
I feel like there's always an element of something to bring the other sex in. You know what I mean? So like in Toy Story, there was Bo Peep. Straight up, that's why I watched it as a kid. I was like, fire. And then let me think. What else? What else? What else?
So what
Even
what is it?
Huh?
What is it in this one?
None. I mean, I didn't see.
Well, there's the mom and there's Manticore. I feel like are kind of our strong female.
I guess your point is there's no like romantic female. Is that your point, or
No, there's just no like girly,
Oh, yeah.
feminized, you know.
Yeah, I guess it's true. Yeah, there's
just
no
want-
well,
like.
I mean, I know we're trying to talk about Onward and not the Toy Story movies, but they changed Bo Peep completely from the first one to the fourth one. So
They
that's
left
true.
her out of the third one, for crying out loud.
No.
yeah,
Remember, they had to like the fourth one opens with an explanation for why she's not in the third one, but they realized their mistake and they brought her back, in a major plot heavy way.
sorry about the segue. We can go back to Onward
It's all right.
and the giant Cheeto.
The giant Cheeto. I had a major problem with that giant Cheeto, by the way. I don't know if you've ever had cheese puffs. They dissolve as soon as they hit your
Disintegrate
mouth.
in water in 2 seconds. Yeah.
I was like, you're gonna pick
But
that
I was
to be
thinking
your
maybe
boat?
there was enough of like a chemical shell around this particular brand, like Sabor de Soledad on 30 Rock. Like maybe.
My
some
other
sort of
problem with the
protective
giant Cheeto is they're like
casing.
climbing on it and it's not getting on their hands. They would just be orange. Like I was like, they would just be
Orange dust.
boof. It just
The best
Again, this
Yeah, right?
protective Sabor de Soledad stuff, or maybe there was a spell, like a Cheeto glaze.
I was trying to think. I'm like, when they expand it, does that mean like the particles are too big? Like, how, I couldn't quite justify it. I was like, that Cheeto would melt, and they would be covered in orange goo.
But I really like the idea of sitting on a Cheeto and like eating it.
Yeah, it's like a banana boat.
I'm not mad about that. I would do that.
Yeah, I mean, anytime you've got something that doubles practical and food, it's always great.
I felt like they used a lot of those things though, like these little silly tricks, like the gelatinous mass and the Cheeto boat, etc. It was just like to prop up the film. I felt like that was like the silliest Disney's ever been.
It was along the silly side. I also felt like, I mean, one of the reasons I felt like it skewed younger is because the movie really telegraphs itself. Like, it'll give you a setup, and it's like, well, that's coming back. Like, it's pretty, like, when the bumper falls off the van, for example. It's like, gee,
Yeah.
I wonder what's going to happen with that license plate that just fell off the van. There's a lot of that sort of thing. Some of it's kind of subtle. Certain things come back that I didn't expect, like the workout video that I mentioned that the mom does. Where what's the phrase? She's like, I am a mighty warrior. Something like that.
Yeah.
Like, so some things came back that I'd like forgotten about because they planted them pretty far ahead. But a lot of them were just like, here's a thing. Obviously that's coming back.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think that's why I kind of leaned so much in the Hero's Quest thing, because it was so like, all right, here's obstacle, like,
Yeah.
and this is how we're gonna confront the obstacle, and this is how we're gonna beat the obstacle, and this is how the obstacle's gonna come back, and
Yeah,
like,
like we're going on the highway. He can't do it. I wonder if we're gonna go back to the highway.
oh well, they did set up like every single thing that he couldn't do at the beginning of the movie,
Yeah.
like to come back. So he had to stand up for himself to the Manticore. He had to get on the highway. He had to. What else did he have to do?
Other stuff.
I don't remember, but like
Yeah.
all those things
Off
that
the
he
top of
wanted
my
to
head.
do, invite people to his birth, like he did all the things.
Yeah. That reminds me of something I really appreciated about this film. A movie involving high school where neither the teachers nor the other student are antagonists. Like, no bullies, no a-hole teachers. Like,
You're right. Like when he invites the kids to the birthday party, they want to go.
They're like-
nice.
they're like, oh yeah, we'll go to your party. Shit, like let's do it. They're just immediately really nice, and he gets embarrassed from his brother, but like, they don't hold it against. Like, in no way do they make fun of him or anything like that. Like, his insecurities are just that. They're like, he's just insecure.
Yeah, they're not real.
Um,
The brother's amazing.
yeah,
I
I
wish I
found it
had a
refreshing.
brother like that.
Yeah.
I'd be stoked if he pulled up in that like van and was like, "Let's go be silly." I'd be like, "Woo!"
um, yeah, not entirely different from my older brother, who is a giant D&D nerd, um, and was always just like. Actually, that dynamic is very close to me and my brother. If I'm being real, um, I think
Aw.
maybe that was one of the reasons that the movie did kind of hit me, because like I could relate pretty hard to just the brother element of that, like where my brother was always kind of obnoxious but also supportive. Um, Not all the time, but uh, we had our moments. So I just found like certain elements of it kind of refreshing in that way, where like a lot of these sort of typical tropes that you see in high school environments, they just kind of were like, we're not going to worry about that. We can find the drama elsewhere. It's it's not a man versus man story in like the three archetypes. Like it's mostly a man versus self, and it's a little bit of man versus nature in terms of like the quest obstacles that they have to overcome. But yeah, mostly it's just like dealing with their own insecurities. The younger brother having to mature a little bit, the older brother having to, kind of accept some responsibility, and just like accept kind of that, you know, the that loss. How did you guys feel about the way the dad is portrayed
When he comes back to life,
throughout the film? Because he
I was
is in
cracking.
a bunch of the film.
Yeah, I was cracking up about when it was just like his lower half. That just tickled me throughout the whole film, especially when he was on the leash.
Yeah, I liked the leash, and they clearly had a lot of fun with like the head with the glasses, and like the way it would
He
just like flop out the window.
I mean, yeah, I liked how he was portrayed because like you could kind of see like the friend of the dad when Ian runs into the dad's friend
Mm.
early when he's like, oh, like do you go there for college? That interaction. That you learn that the dad is super confident, but that he wasn't always confident. That he kind of grew into his confidence,
Yeah.
and you could tell by like the bottom half that he's like a very confident, goofy dad who knows like who he is. But this was the second time I watched it, and the second time there just seems some little logics in like the way the bottom half operated that just felt like sometimes it's like the legs knew exactly what to do and where to go without the leash.
It's
Like and
true.
like knew the situation
Yeah.
with like the danger and stuff,
Well,
and it was on it. And I was like,
the big one
you
where the
you said you
legs.
could hear the vibrations of the music,
Yeah,
that's
that.
why you dance. But like how do you know like, oh my gosh, like I have to like do all these things and run and whatever.
The dancing one is where the legs have the most kind of self-awareness, because he literally like grabs Barley, like he hooks his leg, just kind of like he
Hmm.
just knows where to find him. But I forgave it because I found that scene really endearing. Um,
Oh yeah,
where
like that
where
scene
like they
and
reveal
all of
the
it, yeah.
dad as being kind of just like a dorky dad. It's very humanizing. They're like, because they're kind
But
of.
there's just some moments where like he seemed to get the danger, and then the whole cop scene, like totally drunk as the top half. Like
Yeah, yeah. The top half just. How did it stay on? How did the balancing work?
I did think it was funny though when like he got out of the car and he's like doing this, and they're like, "Oh man, he's drunk."
Yeah.
Speaking
Um.
of the police officers in that scene, uh, lesbian.
Yeah. Lena Waithe, comedian, stand-up comedian. Um. She. So apparently, like she mentioned, she has a girlfriend. She says my girlfriend's daughter is the line, and apparently she requested to have the line be that way. That it was originally, like my husband's, or like it was like my boyfriend's daughter, I think. And she's, an advocate for LGBT. She's a lesbian, and she's very. I don't know where I was going with that, but
I thought that was very refreshing.
Yeah, and I liked that they put it in there, that she requested it, and that they actually were like, yeah, okay, let's do that. You know, the Chinese version and the Arabic version probably don't they don't have that. But I like that at least in our version we got it.
Yeah.
Uh,
Another thing that I found refreshing was that there was no like clash between the children and the mother's boyfriend.
just a little, right?
But
Like,
it's not like evil stepfather.
no, they just like found him ridiculous, which he kind of is.
Yeah, they found him dorky, which like he is.
It's valid.
Yeah. And clearly the mom has kind of a type, because the dad's dorky and the new boyfriend's dorky. Brianna loved the hardly working, and then he would like, she loved that whole thing.
All right. So where does this place for each of us on the Pixar list? Rachel, you get to go first.
Yeah, how high does it rank? What's your favorite Pixar also? What's like the benchmark?
Oh, she froze.
Oh. Can you hear us, Rachel?
I know. Sorry. Can you hear me now?
Yeah, we got you.
Yeah. Am I back? Okay, good. Sorry. It keeps saying internet unstable, so let's just hold on. For me, where does it rank?
Yeah.
I mean, it's definitely not anywhere near the top. I know we didn't really talk about like the end of the film, like the feels moment yet. And the feels moment did make me cry too. Like, how can it not? And it made me cry twice. Second time I saw it. But as far as like ranking, probably somewhere in the middle. Like, it's definitely not one of my dead last. Like Cars is kind of toward the end for me. I'm not a big Ratatouille fan. Like, it's not down there, but it's definitely not up with like Nemo. Like, it's not up in Nemo land.
What's your favorite? What's like your favorite?
My favorite Pixar is Nemo. It gets me every time, only because I think it's really funny and it's got the heart at the same time. Like, it's got the two, and they do really, really well with it. So that's mine.
What about you, Rochelle?
My dead last is, oh God, I can never think of the name. Frozen. Like,
Frozen's pretty low for me too.
Frozen's not Pixar though, right?
No, it's Disney.
Oh, is it? Okay, well,
yeah.
But if I was including it, I would agree with you.
Then honestly, this might be the last one.
Do you like Cars better?
No, but I like the Cars land at Disneyland. I think it's like the best attraction.
Cars is legit the most profitable of all of their franchises, because those toys sell like hotcakes.
Yeah, but the plot, I don't know. That's just me.
Yeah. They're also some of the lowest grossing. I've only seen the first Cars. I didn't see either of the sequels.
The sequels are awful.
They looked bad. Sorry,
awful.
Those might be the only. I'm trying to think if like which ones I haven't seen. I feel like the two Cars sequels. Oh, and Toy Story 2. I've still never seen.
Here's a good one for a sequel.
Oh, Toy Story 2 is so
people
good.
love it. I just haven't gotten around to it. I liked 3 and I like the other Toy Story movies, 1, 3, and 4.
I feel like it might be weird if you've seen 3 and 4 and not 2, because 2 has a totally different tone.
I've seen parts of 2. I've seen like scenes from it, but I just have never.
That's your homework. Go watch 2. 2
Yeah.
has a scene that gives you the feels too. Everyone talks about like the scene in Up and the scene in Onward. Like there's a feel in 2s.
You really place it like way low though, Rochelle?
It was very predictable. Boring. The only thing I really truly liked about it was like the setting, that they were these magical mythical creatures, and
I'm surprised because, you did mention about your dad that it didn't like hit a little closer to home.
I mean, it did. That emotionally of course got me, but to be honest with you, I cried throughout all of Moana, like the whole time.
Yeah. Moana's Disney.
I don't care. I'm just saying, like, it, as for someone who could relate to this film, it didn't hit me.
Interesting. I think I would put it higher than either of you guys. Like my top 2 are very close, and it's WALL-E and The Incredibles. Like Wally's my
Oh, it's my number one.
yeah, Wally's my favorite.
Wally's up there though for me. It's up
Yeah,
there.
The Incredibles for me is like just below it. I just like there's something about Wally himself that is so endearing that like it just puts me over the top. Eva, he's the best. So and then I think it goes to like probably Nemo, and then for me Ratatouille I really liked.
I love Ratatouille. Nemo,
Yeah.
Ratatouille, and Up are like the same.
Yeah, Up is up there. Incredibles is up
Yeah.
there. Nemo's up there. I didn't like Brave as much as you guys did. Sorry.
I'm not crazy about Brave. Also,
The Rapunzel one, is that Pixar?
no, that's Disney.
No, that's DreamWorks.
Oh, is it?
No, Tangled. Tangled is
Tangled? No. Oh,
it's
is it
Disney.
Disney?
Yeah, it was
Oh.
their first animated.
Maybe that's why I'm confused.
Yeah, it was like their first one after Princess and the Frog was Tangled.
Oh,
Got it. I mean, I love Tangled. That's my princess.
Yeah, Tangled's great.
yeah, it's great.
It's underrated. Like yeah, Tangled and Moana I think are both great. Whereas Frozen.
I don't think
Frozen
Moana is
2
underrated as Tangled is though, because I think most people know how good Moana is.
That's true.
Yeah.
Yeah, Tangled is the one that's underrated. But yeah, with Pixar, I did kind of forget about Up. Up is like probably top 5, but I would put this right under that. I think I would put it because, yeah, I like it better than all of the sequels that have come out for the most part.
Do you like it better than Coco? Because Coco would be up there for me. I love.
I need to
Coco.
see Coco again.
I've seen Coco like 7 times.
Yeah, I saw it once, and I feel like I've forgotten a lot of it, and maybe I need to give that one a second chance. I
For
might
me, say that I knew I was gonna like Coco immediately. Like I just saw the preview and I was like, this is a movie for me.
Coco's a really beautiful movie. But yeah, I do think I need to give it another watch. And then maybe
Onward
Toy
would be below Coco.
maybe Toy Story 3 I like better, but I think I like this better than I like Toy Story 4.
Yeah.
And like Toy Story 1's kind of hard to judge against some of these other ones just because it's like so old now and like it looks so different.
It's hard
And-
because like when you rewatch it, you can see how bad the computer animation
And I hate
is.
Randy Newman. I just like that song that was so popular. I just like.
But
drove
Toy
me
Story
crazy.
2 is good. You need to watch that, John.
Yeah. Yeah. I don't like Bugs Life either.
Oh yeah, I forgot about that.
I know.
That's down at the bottom.
You love
Down
it,
by cars.
Rochelle?
Love it. I love it.
Love it. It's Seven Samurai, which is a movie I love and appreciate, and you'd think maybe that would cross over, but I never really liked Bugs Life. I liked Ants. Like
I was
that.
gonna
Remember
say
Ants and
Ants
Bugs
was
Life?
good.
They came out together.
Ants is better.
Yeah.
I'll say that.
And I liked Ants better. It was just so much more serious. It was like a strangely serious movie, and I remember really liking.
It
That
has
as a
more
kid.
serious animation too. Like the ants look a little more legit.
That's
Yeah.
true.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're not like blue. Like why?
Yeah.
Why does he look?
Oh,
so
but
weird?
isn't Bugs Life? Isn't Julie Louis-Dreyfus in that too? Or am I mixing these up?
Oh,
Isn't she Princess Ada?
I'm looking right now.
I don't remember.
I might have that totally wrong, and this is live.
It's fine.
It's okay. That's why I'm looking it up. Fact
Yeah,
checking.
Michelle can do it. Let's talk a little bit about the end of the movie, just because, one of the things I mentioned earlier that the movie telegraphs itself really hard. The thing that surprised me the most was the fact that the older brother is the one who kind of needs to see the father and like gets
Yeah.
to meet the father. I really appreciated that. I thought it was really nice because they had all this build up, and I found myself wondering, what the hell's the dad gonna say that is gonna be satisfying? And when they didn't give us that moment, I was like, that's smart. Like that's really smart. I think that this movie took a while to win me over. Like the first half, I was like, it's okay, but like the last like third of it, I felt like was very strong. In the way that like everything kind of like the themes came together, that like, you know, Ian and Barley kind of both mature, and like the mom comes in and is very supportive. Um, like I yeah, I really liked kind of the last third of this movie. The dragon, I would be remiss to not mention the dragon and its face. I
Oh,
love
that face.
I did get a little chuckle when it first.
like I love the face, and I love how they kept like doubling down on it with like then the eyebrows break away
The
and
eyebrows.
like I thought that was great. And he when he roars, it's the school bell. Um, that was fun. I kind of felt like the movie was complete for me when he reads the list. Like I like broke down when he goes over the list and he realizes that his brother has been filling in as his father figure and has like really, despite being obnoxious, has carried him along this whole journey. Um, and I felt like the catharsis at that moment, and I was kind of like, this movie could just end right now,
Yeah,
and I would have been okay.
I
Uh,
completely lost interest after that.
re-
Completely. The only
uh,
thing that brought me back was the dragon.
yeah, I mean, like the dragon is, I understand it. Like I do feel like for me, like the emotional completion was there, but like fighting the dragon is like a way for him to use all of the skills that he's learned along the way. And he doesn't do it alone. He does it with the help of both his brother and his mom. Like, and he's perfectly willing to accept their help. It isn't like this thing where he has to do it alone. Um, and then like the older brother getting to talk to the dad, I thought was also very poignant. And I liked how they handled it. I liked that the dad was very human. Like from the moment that he dances with them, where he's clearly like, they're making fun of his dancing skills. And then he has like the stupid wizard's name at the end. Like he's like a dorky dad, and who probably tells dad jokes, and like would have been endearing but annoying. You feel like the the older brother has like taken this kind of role on his shoulders from a very young age, and I really liked the way that like those themes kind of unveiled themselves at the end. I think that's why I would rank it kind of high middle. Like some of the other ones I think are a little stronger all the way through, but this one ends really strong. I feel like there's something to be said for that. Whereas, you know, some of the other Pixar's run into the other problem. Like Up is the opposite. Up starts really strong. It has some key moments in it that are good, but a lot of it's just kind of lost. Like all the stuff with the dogs in Up, and like the antagonist in Up, kind of like they're not memorable. Whereas like that kind of the opening and the sense of loss and him dealing with his wife is what's powerful. Um, I thought this film did a good job in kind of wrapping up all its themes and bringing them together. So,
Valid, valid, valid.
yeah. I mean, taste is, there's no
Subjective.
accounting for it, right?
Yes. Yes.
Um, Rachel, did you have any kind of like, I don't know, final thoughts or things that we didn't get to that you had wanted to chat about? I'm going to check my notes real quick.
Me? No, I mean, I think it was just, talking about the end and all the feels and John, I felt a lot of the same things you did. I think the reason this film still ranks like hard middle in the Pixar ones for me is that it was a really predictable hero's quest throughout all of it, and then the end did kind of tumble pretty quick.
Yeah.
So like the only like I was riveted while you're sitting there with Ian looking through the rocks at that interaction. And then the movie just kind of ends and everyone has magic again. So I think
Yeah.
for me,
Yeah, that final wrap up moment isn't much to.
yeah, and I mean, and it was nice because again, watching it the second time, I noticed things that I didn't the first time, like that the reason they keep running into problems is because Ian and Barley aren't working together; they're working against each other. They're doing what they want to do at every juncture, and then at the end, when everyone works together, that's when. So like little things like that, but it was really formulaic. That was a problem for me. So I think Chris Pratt is hilarious, so that was fun for me. I thought Octavia Spencer was hilarious as the Manticore. I thought there's a lot of like good moments, but After I watched it the first time, I wasn't planning on watching it again until you guys asked me to be here, which was exciting. And I'm glad I did see it again, but it's probably not one I'm gonna, you know, curl up with on the regular.
Yeah, that's fair. There was a couple things that I had here that I think would be fun
I
to bring
just
up.
want to interrupt really quick for fact checking. It was Julia Louise Dreyfus that played Ada.
Nice work.
Facts.
Good trivia. For those in our audience, Rachel is pretty baller when it comes to Disney trivia. We've done some bar trivia.
We've done some good Disney. John's okay too.
I'm okay. I'm better at general trivia, but you're good with like the Disney trivia. Same with my wife; she's really good at it. I'm sure Rochelle would be fun to do bar trivia with.
Harry Potter, I'd kick ass though.
That's true. So like you guys don't have much reference point for D&D, so a lot of my comments I feel like would be a little bit lost in you. But it was strange to me, like anytime they try to take D&D and change it to something like this where it's a historical game, because I'm like, the appeal of D&D is that it's an escape and you can make it whatever you want, right? And like instead he's just like a history nerd. Like it just seems strange to me, like kind of an odd way to do it. I can give it a pass.
They had to explain it somehow, but then again, I guess that makes it like in all these heroes quests, there's like the hero needs to learn the things, and we as the audience need to learn the things too. Yeah. So like that was Barley's function for a lot of it, was explaining that stuff. There might have been a better way to do it, but I see why they chose that way.
Yeah. The other thing that I had noted here is that so this is the very first film with zero involvement from one John Lasseter. Oh, yeah. So I noticed that Pete Docter was executive producer on this movie. I guess he's kind of heir apparent to John Lasseter because some of the other big directors have kind of like gone on to do non-Pixar projects. But yeah, you know, John Lasseter kind of somewhat controversially, somewhat mysteriously was booted during kind of the height of Me Too fervor. Disney, without anyone specifically calling him out, they like sent him on a sabbatical to like work on himself, and then they laid him off before that sabbatical ended. They just like quietly hushed him out the door. Apparently he was very touchy-feely. There did come out some remarks. Nothing like overtly terrible was confirmed, but there were like complaints of like kind of casual misogyny, and just like this sort of like workplace, not hostility, but like just kind of making people uncomfortable, women in particular in the workplace. So yeah, Disney kind of just like ousted him, which was crazy at the time because he was running both Disney Studios and Pixar. You know, he was essentially king of the world. And then Bob Iger, his one and only boss, decided had to go. And so this is the very first project that he's had nothing to do with. You know, I felt like it was worth talking about, because it's kind of interesting that we are getting kind of a changeover. Like Pete Docter's been on with Pixar for a very long time, but he hasn't been on every project. He has directed a number of them. I think he directed Bug's Life.
I still have it up. Let's check.
Yeah, he's directed a few. Yeah, he's like one of like the 4 kind of big Pixar directors that they've got like the same well.
John Lasseter and Andrew Stanton.
Yeah. Andrew Stanton has done movies outside of Pixar. But like I don't know, is, you know, when Steve Jobs left Apple, everybody was kind of like, you know, is the magic gone? And to some extent, from Apple anyway, it kind of is. So I kind of am curious about, to some extent.
I'm the worst person.
Yeah, it's gone.
Worst person.
I mean, I guess the verdict's still out because it's the first movie.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
and like John Lasseter was always kind of a weird dude whenever I saw him in interviews. I like we had the Spirited Away DVD. I don't know if you remember this, Rochelle, but my niece and nephew, when they were little, would put that stinking. I love that movie, but they made me hate it because they would put it on every time they came over. They would put on Spirited Away. Yeah, Sonny and Sasha would put on Spirited Away, and then they wouldn't even watch it. They would just like put it. They would demand that it go on the TV. And then they would just like run and play in the backyard and then like occasionally check in on it. And it drove me crazy because it was just like a period of time where it was just like always on. But that movie
happened of Sasha's because when I went to visit them for Thanksgiving, she put like Nicki Minaj like Thanksgiving special on BET and just like left, and I was like, I fucking hate this.
What a terrible habit. But anyway, it would open with John Lasseter being like talking to the camera about how he's helped bring it over, and he'd be like, "You are so lucky to watch this movie," and he was like really intense, and I was just like as a kid, I was like, "Can I not watch this guy?" So like there was always something about him that was kind of, and he was very obsessed with child things. You know, it was kind of like a Michael Jackson vibe, where like. You know, Toy Story, it was like his baby, and like Cars was his baby, and these are like toy movies, you know, they're like, so, you know, I don't necessarily,
that's creepy.
Yeah, right, it's a little creepy, but even this one still focuses like on, it has like a lot of D&D reference and that stuff, but it's a little bit less, in your face about it, you know, like Toy Story 4 I found like cloying by the end of just like love your toys and they're so important to the children, and like, you know, I was like, you know, at some point you got to put your toys away. It's fine.
I didn't even like toys as a kid. I was all about coloring and playing outside.
Yeah, I mean, I like toys. I had a lot of them, but you know, it's like, you know, Woody lasts for so long, and he's like so self-important.
It's like, what, I can't think of the word right now, but it like puts too much value on stuff. Okay, we're getting off topic.
Materialism, right?
We got to do Toy Story so we can rant about that.
Yeah, I do still have like my childhood teddy bear. Like he just hangs out. You can almost see him on the screen.
That's really cute.
Yeah,
because I have a lamb chop puppet. That's the only thing I've kept. Lamb chop. Nice. She's the best. The children don't know who Lamb Chop is, though. Yeah. So that's hard.
That is sad.
Yeah, I mean, it's a song that never ends.
Failing your children.
Don't sing it because we don't want to get a copyright strike.
I won't. Honestly, that song is really annoying, so I wouldn't sing it anyway.
It's one line repeated for infinity. It's the worst.
Okay, we should probably end because
yes, we've gone a little long. I think we said a lot of good stuff about it. Were there any shout outs or anything we had today, or do we want to go straight to next week's movie?
No shout outs.
Okay, so next week we will be doing we'll be watching Clockers by Spike Lee.
Guest to be determined.
Yes, we have a guest lined up, but we kind of got like a maybe. We're gonna do the movie. He's suggested the film, and it's one that we have to pay for. So I'm really hoping that he shows up for it. But we'll see. And Rochelle's gonna give him hell on earth if he bails on us. But we will have an episode regardless, and it will be Clockers regardless. I've never seen this movie, so I'm very curious to kind of see what's in for. There's a lot of Spike Lee's movies that I haven't seen, or Spike Lee joints rather, that I haven't seen. I did love Black Klansman, and I think Inside Man is a really good movie, but like I haven't seen Do the Right Thing. And Clockers I'm very unfamiliar with, so it'll be interesting, I think.
Totally, I'm excited for it.
That
we're doing it next week because it's a little bit fresh right now.
Yeah. I don't know if thematically it's close to what's going on, but it is Spike Lee, and he does tend to be very vocal about social justice.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, also, yeah, what's happening right now is like very fresh. And
Not that it won't be next week, but like, you know, the Neosporin will be on it.
yeah, you know,
By the way,
we'll see what
we
happens.
that like about an hour ago, they charged the other 3 officers and they increased the other charge for the what's that guy's name? Whatever his name is, the main officer.
Oh, I don't. I thought you were asking about George Floyd for a second. Yeah, I was like, George Floyd. No, the officer. I also don't know his name.
Yep, foreign on top of this.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah, much. At least something of response has happened. You know, I always think back to Eric Garner was the case that like, I feel like I was always really kind of liberal progressive, but that case like really like made me start looking at things differently. And nobody was charged in that case.
Or even fired.
Yeah, no, yeah, they were neither fired nor charged, which like to me was just an atrocity to the justice system. So at least we're getting that, and hopefully, you know, positive change can come out of this. I miss Obama. I'm just gonna say it outright.
Where are you?
I miss that guy so bad.
At least he's on Twitter.
At least he's on Twitter, you know. But like he was such a just like that aura of respect and decency. I miss it so bad. We haven't had a proper justice. When George Bush looks better than you've done something wrong. You done fucked up. Because George Bush, you know, like even if you are a Republican, like the guy was like foot and mouth disease also, but like at least he would actually effing say something. Yeah. Crying out loud.
Hiding in his bunker.
Right? Yeah, so that's we're gonna say what we feel on the show. I decided a couple of weeks ago that I wasn't gonna try and placate everybody. I was just gonna be honest. And so next week, Clockers, that's our episode. Rachel Collins, thank you for joining. Where can the people find you?
Thank you for having me.
I know you gave it to us at the top, but
where can people find me?
Yeah, is there anything you want to promote or?
Yes, you can find me on Instagram. The handle I think is already on. John, you said that, so you can find me there. You can find me on Twitter, and yeah, I'm also working on some projects with my theater company, and stuff is coming out. So just keep following me on Instagram, and I'll direct you to where to go next.
Cool. Awesome. I'll bring you back and you have something to really plug, yeah?
Yes. Cool. When I have a thing, then I will plug it.
Yeah,
plug it hard.
We would love to be able to help out anybody who helps us out because that's how we is. Rochelle, where can the people find you?
You can find me on Instagram at Rochelle Racine, link below, or my Twitter, which will be linked below. But right now, I'm just harassing Donald Trump on it, so like it's probably not that interesting to you. And then as far as plugs, I will be on Tsunami Healing Uncut this week, and then next week, John and I will be on Tsunami Healing, the main podcast.
Oh, we're gonna be on together.
Yeah, cool. Yeah. So this week I'm doing his Uncut, which is just like we're going to be talking about having white privilege, even though we are brown heritage. And that's on his Patreon, but we're going to be making that episode free, so don't worry about it. And then the week after, John and I will both be on the Tsunami Healing, which is available to everyone on all the podcasts. It's a good show. Yeah, on all the podcast stuff.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to that. Also, I just kind of want to put out there just to kind of put it out there so that I actually work on it is I'm starting work on another show that will go on the same channel. It will be very different from this show. It will be pre-recorded, edited, and much shorter than what we do for everyone who complains that our show is too long. Because I've had several comments about the show.
dishes, man.
Yeah,
Like,
this is our hangout show, but I am working on another show that hopefully in a few weeks I can start posting. And I just wanted to tease that now. Like I said, just kind of keep myself honest and make sure I actually put in the work for that. All right. Until next time. Oh, hold on. I had something I wanted to bust out. Yeah, here it is.
late. Oh my god, it's so teeny.
I have my little slate here.
Oh, it's so cute.
Right? I'll do it.
That made my day. Watch more movies and happy viewing. That's a wrap.
That's a wrap. If I can hit the end stream. Cool.